Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Dicing with Death. So, Zweihaad, you wake up in the morning. It's peaceful, as peaceful as it can be, and head on down from the lighthouse to notice that I think we already said this before, the tendril from before is 4 feet high now. You were memorizing your spells. That's where we left off. So, what spells have you picked?
I think I'd already picked. Maybe I didn't even think. Yeah, Strength of Stone, Calm Animals, Entangle, Sunscorch, Messenger, and Dust Devil.
Okay.
And yeah, so the tendril is new, right? And sorry, 4 feet high.
Yep.
All right. I think just to be safe, I'm going to kill off the tendril again. So use my halberd to cut away the tendril.
Mm-hmm. You do so. You rip it down and cut it up. It lies dead.
And then I need to find a small bird to use as a messenger.
Okay. You look about.
Are there shorebirds here, or have they been chased away by this pestilence?
Looks like they've been chased away. You start looking around for a bird. You would expect some sort of seagull, at least, but there are none to be seen.
Okay,
What do you...
Oh, wait, let me see this. I can tell it to go to a certain place. Okay. So I'm going to attach a note to it. Maybe that's not as useful as I thought. But I guess I can go to the halfling village and get some paper or something and send a message home.
Sure.
So I will be on... So it looks like there's no... Have I noticed any animals since being here?
No, actually, you haven't seen any animals. And you've seen animal pens that are very clearly emptied of animals. But you haven't seen any. How often does Zweihaad pay attention to the smaller critters of the world?
I don't think he did until just now.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but I think back and, I probably haven't seen any animals the last couple days.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna head north, back towards the halfling village.
Okay. It's gonna be a long day to get back to the halfling village. I guess somehow you made it there in a day, so you can do it. You can head back.
It should only be. Actually, I guess the abbey was 6 miles. I should be able to move 12 miles a day over open.
This looked like it was 14, ground. But maybe our measurements were imprecise. So I think it's fine. Yeah. You make it back to the halfling village.
We haven't actually noted the halfling village on the map.
We have not. It's on that little peninsula, though. Yeah. You make it back to the quaint little halfling village after wandering through the spongy desert side for a while, coastal desert. The village is much as you left it. Firm ground. No monsters, no dogs. Small little kids playing with pinwheels and flying kites. You can smell... Is that like a fresh baked ham pie that I smell?
Ham pie?
Yeah, like a pig pie.
If you say that's a thing.
It's definitely a halfling thing. Excuse me. Yeah, it's got scents of bacon and other pork products in it. And there's some sort of vegetables. It's a savory meat pie and all these other wonderful scents. You're approaching in the evening, so this must be dinner that someone's making. You notice your halfling friend that runs the inn in town that you were staying at before is out at a large outdoor oven, kind of like a big pizza oven that he's like shoveling baked pies into instead of like pizza pies. The few halflings that do see you coming recognize you as the dwarf from before, give you a smile or a wave or whatever, and you can make your way wherever you'd like through the village.
Yeah, I'm gonna go see if I can find the old man Underhill. Do I know where he was from, or was he just summoned to me? I mean, he was just summoned to me, but...
He was just summoned to you. You wouldn't know where to find him.
I'll ask someone
directly.
to point me to old man Underhill.
Yeah, you get brought to this house that's down on the beach itself. His house is like some stilts that rise it up so it's at level with the... Because you know how if you get to a beach, you'll usually have like ground level and then the beach slants towards the ocean. So his house will be at even with ground level, but it's built on the sandy beach on stilts with a little bit of a staircase going up to it. So it won't flood, but you know, it's on the beach.
I'll have left my goats somewhere on the outskirts of town to feed. Sure. And I will head into Underhill's house and sort of knock on it.
Yeah, you see him standing, sitting on the deck that runs around his house in a rocking chair, looking out over the ocean. He notices you're knocking at the door and waves you over. So, what did you find, young one? Well, maybe not old one. How old are you? My age?
Possibly. Let me check. I am 55 years young.
Oh!
So, young by dwarf standards.
Yes. I am 93. Thank you very much. Anywho. Yes.
I am afraid I bring grave tidings.
Oh?
That strange pestilence we found emanating from near the abbey emanates from heat stroke. The pyramid there has been overrun with demons.
You don't say, do you?
He doesn't appear that surprised.
He seems sort of like whatever about it.
After dark, the whole place glows with a foul purplish hue, and a beacon extends skyward. I saw with my own eyes winged extraplanar beasts crawling all over the thing. Foul, fleshless dogs. The pestilence that we saw extends at least all the way to the city.
Fleshless dogs, you say? Czar. Well, what do you make of it, young one?
What do I make of it?
Yes.
There's demons. In heat stroke.
But what? I mean, you say demons, but what do you mean by that, really?
Invaders from the lower planes.
You mean out of this world, eat everything and render the world to ash and dust demons?
Well, I don't know about eat. Every village between here and Heatstroke was abandoned. Their inhabitants gone. Some sign of a struggle, but not enough blood to have been eaten.
Well, he sits, looks out over the ocean and thinks for a little while. Might these demons come here?
They might.
To our little village?
They've been to the little villages south of here. I didn't want to alarm anyone rushing into town. You're the first I've told, but...
So this is quite serious, then?
Yes. I mean, the abbey's been abandoned.
Should we evacuate?
I can't
Are we to be refugees?
I can't tell you that, but you might at least want to be ready. I'm going to return to the dwarf lands at once and warn them of this danger. You know, the halflings that I met crawling about the Hemderkost Hills were looking for mithril, I think for this very reason. You see, ordinary weapons cannot harm these creatures, it seems.
I see. Well, why don't we hold a feast this evening and talk about it? I guess it's perhaps a little late for a feast, he says, looking out over the ocean.
Nonsense.
Pretty
it's
much
never too late for a feast.
It takes hours to prepare for one proper. Why don't we feast tomorrow night and chat about it?
Can a ship be procured from this village?
Not a boat? A small boat?
To get me out of here?
It could be done. Where do you wish to go?
Well, eventually back to the Hemderkost Hills. But I suppose boat to Weatherlight is probably the most sensible way. I can spare another day if we can, if I can charter a small ship out of here. I'll see to that matter in the morning.
I believe Charlie has a ship that he sometimes takes to Weatherlight. I'm sure you could charter Charlie.
Charter Charlie. Fair enough. Do you have a piece of paper I could borrow or buy?
Very expensive, but I have some papyrus that you could write on. Or a clay tablet if you'd rather.
It needs to be light enough to secure to a bird.
Oh, clay tablet would not do then. Papyrus it is. And he goes into his house and pulls out some flattened papyrus pieces. You know, they make the very best papyrus over in Heatstroke. The vines and reeds grow along the River Crux.
There may be a shortage of papyrus then. Now that Heatstroke is overrun. I don't think you want anything to do with the vines that I've seen. How much does papyrus generally cost?
I think it's a silver a page.
Okay. I can give him the silver then.
Okay.
And might I borrow a pen and ink?
He provides you with pen and ink.
All right. And I will write a small note. And demons have overrun Heatstroke. Mm-hmm. Cyclops have attacked Milfaldur. Returning home as soon as I can. Zwihard. And roll it up and see if I can find a little birdie to send it back to what you call it?
Milfaldur?
No, Blacksteel Keep.
Blacksteel Keep, okay. There are plenty of birds about.
Yeah, so I think I need to use a little piece of paper to lure them over, and then they do get a saving throw versus spell.
Okay, so...
Which a bird, it should have like a 17 or 18 as its save.
Yeah. The bird fails a saving throw. I think, unless you... Would you like to pick your bird? Or should I just pick you a bird? The easiest to catch would be a seagull, but you could probably get
tiny, it needs to be tiny. I think a seagull is actually tiny, isn't it?
Maybe. You could get some snowy plovers.
Yeah, okay. I'll get a little plover. And tie the little message to its tail and send it off to Blacksteel Keep.
All right. The plover takes off and heads for Blacksteel Keep.
It has 4 days to get there. Hopefully it can fly to Blacksteel Keep in 4 days. If not, maybe I needed to pick a different kind of bird.
It can get there in 4 days. It's what, like 100 miles or so?
More like 150, even a little more than that, actually.
You said 10 days? 4 days?
4 days. But I think
So
birds
as long as it can
quite
go
quickly.
40 miles a day, I think a bird can do 40 miles a day. No problem.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. The message will probably arrive.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I will rest, and on the morrow charter a boat.
Yep. Appears that Charlie has been informed that you wanted to charter a boat because you wake up that morning to Master Zweihan, Master Blacksteel. It's time to go.
Am I at the inn?
You are at the inn, and you're being awoken to these.
I thought I was sticking around for the feast and then getting on the boat.
That's what you thought, but here's Charlie at the break of dawn.
Oh, are you already leaving?
We go with the tides, Master Dwarf. We go now.
You have room for the goats?
Goats? Yeah, yes. Well,
I'll compensate you. I hope, actually. God. I will try to pay my inn tab on the way out as well.
Nonsense. Any guest of my dear second cousin is a guest of mine. I couldn't possibly accept any money from you. I'm just glad you liked my triple baked lamb wrapped potatoes stuffed with natural organic veggies. None of that magician grown nonsense. Can't trust it.
They were delicious. Well, thank you for your hospitality. I pluck a good berry from my what's it called? My laurel, my mithril laurel, and hand it over to him. Perhaps you would like to try this good berry.
What makes it so good?
They are blessed by the gods. That's a good berry with trademark.
It's a magic berry. A blessed berry.
Blessed, not magic. None of this wizardy shit.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Give it
He pops it in his mouth and munches on it and goes, ooh, filling and satisfying. Wait, I don't know why I'm using the old man voice. He seems...
Every halfling's an old man.
I suppose. He seems satisfied and pleased with the food.
All right. And I guess we head to the docks. I gather up my goats, and we hop on this small skiff to Weatherlight.
Yeah, it's got a single sail and a small mast. The goats... The halfling actually helps you tie the goats up, like hog tie them, so that they will lay down and stay flat while you transport them and not tip the whole boat over.
That's hilarious. That's totally how you ship goats, right?
That's how you got to ship these goats. That's how, when I was living in Vietnam, that's how people would transport pigs and any other sort of livestock. If they were going to put them on the back of their scooters, they'd like hog tie them and then just like tie them to the scooter so they couldn't move and throw everyone off balance.
That's crazy. These are magically enchanted goats, though, so I may be able to exert some extra control over them. I can also I do have that calm animal spell. I was planning on using that on the demon dogs, but I guess it'll have to be the goats. Or I don't think I bother wasting it, but anyways, we set off.
You do, and you head for Weatherlight. You can make it in a day since you're leaving at dawn. It's a pretty unremarkable journey to Weatherlight. You see coastline and sandy dunes and waters and not much else. At some point you think you might see some movement in the sand dunes, maybe that brass or bronze dragon over there, but it could also just be the reflection of the heat waves that are playing tricks on your eyes. And eventually you arrive back in Weatherlight. That's actually that evening that you arrive there. The halfling that you've been driving or sailing with the whole day has been chatty. Very chatty. More like I want to talk at you than I want to talk with you sort of chatty. If you're familiar with that experience.
I am. So he doesn't let me tell him anything about what's going on in heat stroke? And he
Oh yeah, I mean he'll definitely listen for some moments, but given any time that you are silent, he will fill the void with stories of his life and thoughts and what's happening with his nieces and nephews.
Are the stories at all interesting, or is he just
I mean, maybe if you were in the mood for socializing, but I think coming back from demon-infested territories and worrying about your people being overrun with giants, I think his talk seems small and pointless.
Okay. How much does his ship cost to charter?
It will cost you a gold piece.
All right. I'll give him the gold.
Mm-hmm.
And the silver for the goat trouble.
Okay.
And I will, so I guess, get to Weatherlight that evening and find an inn.
You find the inn.
Hopefully with the stables for some goats.
Yeah, they're not used to keeping goats, but they'll keep yours.
One horse stall should be enough for the three of them.
Right? Same. It's fine.
How much does an inn cost?
An inn is usually 3 silver, including food and drink. If you're gonna house your goats, toss in another 2, so 5 silver total.
All right, I hand over 5 silver, and I will head into the tavern common room if there's one to grab dinner.
Yep.
And hopefully get some news from the innkeep.
Sure. The halfling actually is joining you here. I mean, he's staying in the same inn, but, you know, not...
I probably ditch him as soon as I can.
Right.
Talking my ear off.
Yeah. The common room is filled with humans and a few dwarves and a few halflings. You even see a half-elf or 2 hanging around the bar in like a small cluster. Or maybe it's just a really effeminate male human next to the half-elf.
Yeah, I'm gonna go find the dwarves and ask, is there any news from Milfaldur?
Looks up and sees you, gives a nod and goes, yes. The city was badly damaged. Walls knocked down, hundreds dead. The Cyclops eventually turned back, but not before they crushed part of the palace.
It's a damn shame. But the city still stands?
The city stands, as it always has and always will. What do you know of Milfaldur and their troubles there?
I was there when the city was sacked, but I'm a black steel, so it was not my duty to
a
stay
black steel. He crosses his arms and leans back in his chair.
See it.
What are you doing on this side of the hills?
Well, a holy quest drew me to Heatstroke, where I.
You
where I
know,
bore-
maybe you can answer me this question. How did the Black Steel family get its name?
from our metalworking, and I'm probably still wearing my chain shirt. I got it. That despite being made of bronze, it has a sort of dark silvery luster from the high nickel content, and then also the surface treatment, charcoal rub or flaming or something like that.
No. It's because they're so dirty from working in the coal mines that when they came across brass, they thought it was steel.
Well, I never. I think I splashed my drink in his face, and
He gets up and splashes his drink in your face, and before you know it, there's a full-fledged dwarf off in the middle of the tavern, which is, par for the course.
Yeah, I don't think it comes to blows or anything like that. I think there's drinks splashed and insults exchanged, and we
all the beards are
separate.
wet, and eventually some people come and pry you apart before it can get too vicious and mean.
Yeah,
but
I don't actually like go to. I think I splash him. Although I guess he splashes me back.
he
and
splashes. There's a rising tension that gets settled
Yeah,
by
I
the
was mostly
crowd.
just trying to get away from him. I was about to warn him that demons are coming. Demons can take him, and I head to the other side of the bar and take my dinner.
Right.
Full-fledged dwarf off, eh?
Yeah. Okay. The
So
evening.
there will be. Maybe I think I do need to go to Milfaldur.
Do you?
I don't know how warmly I will be received if I return. Are the docks active at this time of night? Can I go down there?
Weatherlight?
And,
Oh, totally. Yeah.
I'll go down there and see what ships are prepping to leave in the morrow.
Sure. You're looking for passenger ships that will take you.
Actually, maybe Keldaram is the way to go.
Yeah. That would get you most of the way home.
Yeah, so I'll see if I can find any passenger ships leaving on the morrow for Keldaram.
Yes, there are. There are 2 ships that are headed out that way. One of them is going directly to Keldaram. One of them is going a little bit south of that towards Blue Cliff. Yeah, those are the 2 boats that are heading out that direction. They are both merchant ships with extra room for passengers since they don't have a heavy load leaving.
Okay, I think the one going to Keldaram seems the most direct, unless the captain is difficult to deal with. Are they human captains, I assume, right?
Yes, human captains. Let's see, 170 miles or 170. So that's going to be a 4.5-4 day journey to Keldaram. So that it'll be 4 gold pieces to get there.
All right, I'll pay in silver because that's closer to copper, which is the most preferred currency in the realm.
So you chip out the 40 silver pieces.
40 or 30?
40.
Is it 40?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Yep.
I won't pay it that night, but I've removed it from my character sheet just for ease of record keeping.
Perfect.
Right, I would pay on delivery, and that's including goats or no?
No, that's actually not including goats. The goats are going to be an extra 4 gold each to get there.
4 gold each?
Yeah. For livestock, they charge the same rate as passengers. Yeah.
I guess my goats are not going to make it. I will see to. I'm going to go back.
Well, I mean, the guy seeing that you're having this issue paying for the goats asks if you have anything else that you might want to trade for it. We're merchants. Well, do you have anything of value? Anything that you could barter with?
Of course, I've got a gemstone that's unvalued. Yeah, what is this gemstone worth?
What do you
Actually, I have no
produce?
idea. I don't know where it came from. I don't think you have notes to even know where it came from. It's probably only 10 GP, but who knows?
It's just a singular gemstone.
Singular gemstone. It came from one of the goblinoids in the Hemderkoss Hills.
Okay.
You didn't tell me what. I didn't get it appraised. You didn't tell me what it was worth. So
you produce the gemstone saying you're not sure of its value, and he'll take a look at it and turn it over. Or he asks you if you have food for your goats.
of course, yeah.
Sure, good enough. He'll
Is
make
that
the
in
trade.
lieu of my passage as well, or is that just for the goats?
Just for the goats.
Fair enough. All right. I don't know what that. It was probably just a 10 GP.
You're probably getting
So
pretty
I
good
probably
value out
actually
of
got a
it.
better deal out of it.
Yeah, but
Still, I'm not sure it was worth the goats. I think if I had known ahead of time, I probably would have just left the goats with the halflings. But I guess they are charmed and all that. So
yeah. Okay. You can set off on the next few days. It'll take you quite a few days to get there. For, as we said before, And let's see, anything interesting along the way? Nope. It is a straight and easy journey from Weatherlight back to Keldaram for the first time.
Yeah, I have been. Zweihardt has been to Keldaram, but I don't think we've seen it on stream.
I don't think so either. Yeah. So let's take you there. Let's bring your character first, and then the camera. There we go. Keldaram is another dwarven city built into the hills down by the water with a nice big wall around it. Very similar in many respects to Milfaldur, but on the other side. Keldaram, I think, is a little bit bigger of a town. It is right at the... Oh, this is not the updated mouth. This straight right here. Hold on, I can't
Is
remember.
this the canal or whatever?
Yeah, it is at the threshold to the Grand Canals within. Keldaram sits just on the edge of it, so if you want to stop before you head into the canals, you come through here. This is a fairly dangerous passage because all of the water from the canals ebbs and flows, with the tides. As the tide lowers, there's a huge rush of water out, and as the tides rise, there's a huge rush of water in. So 4 times a day, the tides change with great gusto. So it's a difficult passage to make. Getting in and out of the canals is dangerous. And Keldaram has a little port on the north side so that those ships waiting to go in have a safe place to sort of stall and wait for the right tides. Many ships are lost every year trying to shoot through the rapids of the canals, at the wrong time.
Is that Mistria across the canal from here?
To the south is Mistrea. Directly to the west would be the Elven lands.
Oh.
Yeah, it's just this kind of big forested bluff that looks completely wild and untamed with sheer cliffs and no real access to it.
Well, I will step off the docks in Keldaram. Are the docks outside of the
Yeah, the docks are
walls
up
of the
here.
city?
The walls will go down and sort of like wall in the docks, so they're kind of an outside of the wall area, and then there's points of ingress and egress.
Yeah, it's midday, so I will go ahead and find an inn to stay in, food, somewhere to stable the goats, and seek news of whatever news I can get, either of Milfaldur or of Einard's crusade. So Keldaram is a dwarven city, I believe, right?
Yes.
Is it the seat of power in Dwarf County, or is that
Yes.
Milfaldur?
It is the capital of Dwarf County.
Okay. Do I have family connections here or not?
Yeah, sort of. Well, we're about to get to that. You come in looking for a tavern or an inn, something to rest in, and there is this place. It's called the Dwarf's Ship, which is a bit of an ironic name because the picture on front is just a large tankard with a miniature dwarf inside of it drinking it. And as you walk in and start to look around, you actually see a small contingent of well-armed dwarves flying the black steel flag inside the tavern itself.
Hail, cousins.
They turn and see you, and they stand and cheers their glasses and say, "Hail, cousin!"
What
towards you.
What are you doing in Keldaram?
Celebrating.
I'll be glad to hear some good news. It has been a weary couple of weeks. What's the celebration? And I'll flag a barkeep over to get us all another round.
Yeah, they will tell you the tale of how the little dwarven army led by your brother left Tharnam and kind of marched north through the hills, coming across a few groups of hobgoblins here or there that they managed to, like creep up a hill and surround and bring down with crossbow bolts, and how every time they encountered like packs of hobgoblins, they were always in like these little small numbers, and the dwarves like easily overran them and wiped them out. And they marched,
of course,
straight from Tharnum to Keldaram, battling small groups of hobgoblins here or there, with great results and wonderful victories, and are now resting in Keldaram for a little bit, while the advanced scouts run around fly about on Griffin back, trying to see where things are. It appears that the count here in Keldaram has lent your brother a single Griffin scout to help see what's going on.
Is Einar here?
No. He is out at an advanced location in the hills, leading the scouting patrols himself. Well, advising the scouting patrols himself. He's... the Griffin doesn't like him.
Well, we dwarves were more meant to walk than swim or fly. I'm truly amazed at these Griffin riders. Must have some, I don't know, some, never mind.
Never mind, indeed.
So who's here in Keldaram? Is most of the army on leave?
No, most of us are stationed here, currently under the captainage of Reyna Redspear.
I know of the Red Spear clan.
Yeah, the Red Spear clan is one of the other clans that is sort of under the thrall of the Blacksteel family. They don't necessarily run, but they are a significant influence in one of the outlying villages that has a coal mine. There's a bunch of red steel dwarves that work that mine, even though it's owned technically by the Blacksteel family. I'm sorry, Red Spear. So, a subsection of your population.
Well then, I will stay and drink with these dwarves for a bit, but I do want to ask where the captain is stationed, or in the city.
Captain Reyna is stationed at the next tavern over. She thought this one was a little below her station. She's off hobnobbing with humans. And I think I saw an elf in there too.
Is the dwarf ship sized for dwarves?
Yes.
Lower ceiling. It's probably, I bet the common room is like underground a little bit, at least a few steps down.
Yeah, and the ceiling is actually only like 5 feet tall, so it would be uncomfortable for humans, maybe 5.5.
Yeah.
You
That's funny. Probably just to make it uncomfortable, because I think dwarven halls typically do have tall ceilings and are quite cavernous, but...
This is like designed to be unwelcoming to the larger races.
Well, I think I'll stay here, but I'm gonna go have a word with this Reyna.
All right. You can hop from one tavern to the other. The next one over that Reyna is in, it's known as the Meeting Grounds. And it's built to human standard sizes, although there are also, there's dwarven tables and there's like step chairs so you can sit at the bar properly and everything. And here in the far back corner, you will see a dwarf chatting with 2 humans and maybe an elf. The dwarf is carrying, has a sigil of the Blacksteel family on her lapel.
Really? Okay. Regretting now not bringing some. Actually, I'm like, I could have brought some sign of the demons, but at this point it would probably just look like a rotten chicken breast. So maybe better off not.
Yeah.
All right. I will approach this table. Did the humans or elves look like anyone of note?
Give me a charisma check as you approach the table. See what you can make of these folks here.
Yeah, I think this is just what I'm catching in like a cursory glance, because I think my instinct is probably going to be to ignore the humans, but I am Feeling quite sociable today.
They don't look like nobles or anyone of note. They actually look like hunters or rangers of some kind.
Then I will approach and totally ignore the humans and elves and speak in Dwarven to Reyna.
Perfect.
And I will say, greetings, cousin. It is Captain Reyna. Have I met Reyna before?
Probably not. I mean, you've maybe met one of her family members, but not this dwarf in particular.
I will extend a hand. Does she like take my interruption well, or is she was she like in the middle of conversation? And...
No, she takes it quite well, ignoring whatever the half elf or full elf, it's hard to tell, was saying.
Yeah, so I'll extend a hand. Like, I am Zwihard Blacksteel, and it is a pleasure to make your acquaintance, Captain.
Zwihard? Brother of Einhard?
I nod. It is
Son of Einhard.
I nod again. It is a pleasant surprise to see my brother's dwarves stationed here in Tharnham. Or Keldaram.
Yeah, Keldaram.
Yeah.
It is a pleasure to see you as well. I have seen your handiwork in the field and have great appreciation for it. You are truly a blessed smith.
What did we call that axe? Is it moon?
Dreamcatcher? I don't know.
Dreamcatcher. I don't know. Moonsteel? I don't even remember. Well, this pleases me greatly to hear. It is welcoming to have such good news after a rough few weeks. I've come to ask where Einhard is stationed, or I must meet and speak with him.
She immediately hops out of her chair and says, I would be proud to lead you to him myself.
Is he not some ways away?
He is. Outside of town. Quite a ways.
How far?
2 miles?
Oh, that's not bad. Take your time. You should finish your drink and your meal, and you may go at your leisure.
She clasps you on the shoulder and hops back up into her chair, returns to the common tongue, and starts speaking again towards the
I'll be
humans
in
and
the
elves.
dwarf ship. Come find me when you're ready to depart.
Yeah. She gives you a nod of the head and goes back to her stuff. She'll come and find you shortly.
Yeah, so I guess I will probably maybe not be staying at the dwarf ship, but I will go and like pay for the drinks that I had ordered and pay the stable boy and probably collect my goats and get ready to go. What does it cost for the rounds of drinks and the dwarf and the goat scrubs?
You're probably running like 4 or 5 silver.
That's wow. Those I bet the soldiers ran up quite a tab while I was next door.
Yep. They saw that you left your tab open and ordered a round or 2.
That's fine. Do I catch any? Is there any further news of their conquest? It sounds pretty standard.
I mean, it was a pretty short venture. It took them maybe they spent like 3 weeks cruising around, and they've been here in Keldaram for another week or so. They just kind of marched around the hills and shot things with crossbows. Seems like they haven't had a chance to actually engage in melee, because it's always, twice as many dwarves or 3 times as many dwarves as there are hobgoblins, and so the hobgoblins will bolt immediately.
Bolt.
Yes, and then be bolted to the ground. Yeah. So it's been a resounding and surprisingly easy victory for the dwarves as they've marched through here, and they're planning on turning around and now heading back out to the hills further, but just using some griffins to see if there are any hobgoblin dens or lairs or warrens, if there's like a little nest of them somewhere that they need to root out before they head further east. But it looks promising to them.
Alright. Well, I will wait at the dwarf ship for Reyna to come meet me, and we'll head out into the field.
All right. She comes and grabs you half an hour later. Says, apologies for the long waiting time. I've been speaking with some of the scouts around here asking for more information on the whereabouts of hobgoblins that the humans were able to provide.
Do they have any, are there any hobgoblin settlements in the hills around here, or do they stick to smaller groups?
There are. Unfortunately, the critters here have many separate warrens that each one acts as a home base that they migrate between, giving them no single base of operations that can be destroyed. They're semi-nomadic and cunning.
Nod. Well, shall we take a walk?
All right. She will head with you.
Collect my my pack animals. Do you need to bring any? Do you need to bring an escort?
No. We're here in the capital of Dwarf County. Nothing's going to touch us.
I shrug, and I take my goats, and I think we leave the city walls and head east into the hills.
You do. Okay. And let's take our break here and deal with everything else on the other side. You still got another hour in you, or do you have stuff to do?
Yeah, we can do an hour. We'll go, I guess, meet up with Einard and wrap things up this episode.
Cool. We'll be back on the other side of our break. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.